Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the dress rehearsal of Papa Champs season number 2 here in Abu Dhabi. Final rehearsal before the season begins next week in Australia with 2 races. Tonight we've got 2 races planned as well. One 25% and one 35% race, each of them with a one-shot qualifying session. This will be the first time we see the cars and drivers on track for the start of season number 2. I'm excited to see all the drivers, all the liveries, all the teams, and it looks like we are gonna get this underway. Official start of the season, the dress rehearsal, the final race before the season starts. Start off with the first race with a one-shot qualifying session. Got 11 drivers on the grid right now. Who is gonna come out on top? Is it gonna be the reigning world champion from Season 1, Scott? Or will it be someone else? We're about to find out as the qualifying session is about to get underway in a few minutes' time. On the grid for tonight, we've got Scott, the reigning world champion, driving for Target Chip Ganassi, as well as Kislesko driving the Orange Arrows. Then we've got Kyle in the Benson & Hedges Jordan, Rip Brennan in the Panasonic Toyota Racing car, Sector Genesis in the Richard Childers Racing, Wyvern Skull in the Braun GP, LTK Terrier in the Mild 7 Renault. As we can see, qualifying has got underway already. A bit earlier than expected. Into the first sector we go already. And it's the Benson & Hedges right now in P2 behind the arrows. Let's go, did he go the fastest first sector? Into the second sector we now go, on to the first long DRS straight. Then head into turn number 6. Great overtaking opportunity, hard braking zone into the chicane. Go onto another back straight there with DRS as well. And it's Kislesko right now in P1 and the arrows. Now head into turn 9 and sweeping left-hander there is. Into the final sector now with a lot of twisty and technical corners. It's a shootout right now between the Jordan and the arrows for P1. And Vapid Koot through the penultimate corner. Through the final corner, is it going to be pole position? Across the line, and it is pole position with a 122.63 tenths clear of Kislesko and the arrows. And the reigning world champion Scott in P3, a couple of more tenths behind. Then it's quite a big gap to Kashmiri in P4, and that was the first qualifying session already. It's over and we have our grid for the first race of tonight. We see the classification of qualifying. Vapid Koot in the Benson & Hedges Jordan in P1, ahead of Kislesko in P2 in the arrows. Then it's Scott in P3 in the Chip Ganassi car. Then it's Kashmiri in P4, driving the BMW Sauber. Then it's RB Brennan in P5 in the Toyota, ahead of Kyle, who was looking quite good through the first two sectors, but fell off in the final sector, ending up in P6 in the Jordan, out of Wyvern Skull in P7, driving the Braun GP, and all the other drivers didn't manage to set a lap time. Possibly invalidated their lap times or had an incident. We now move on to the first race already. Waiting a couple of minutes before the lights will go out. First off, we've got a 25% race. And after that we will have another one-shot qualifying with a 35% race, but that is for later tonight. We wait a few minutes before the lights to go out. Get get ourselves ready for the first real race of the season. Not an official championship race, but final race before we get things really underway for the season. Season number 2. A 25% race, will we see different strategies? Softs, mediums, I think should be the best one, or medium soft, depending on if you're starting at the back or at the front. Of course, there's also a possibility of a safety car. Can change everything. A strategy is never certain before the race. Just a couple moments before we get this first race underway. A minute or two until the start and the 5 red lights. Gonna be interesting to see. Of course, a couple of the drivers starting at the back. We didn't set a lap time in qualifying. Interesting to see if they can find their way back through the field. Some higher points positions. And we're about to get this race underway. This time we'll be seeing the cars and drivers under racing conditions. There we go then. The red lights are not on yet because we start with the formation lap. So it's 2 green lights. So we start off with the formation lap, get the tires nice and warm. 100 degrees. So a lot of drivers on the hard compound tire. Possible race strategies: one stop from hard to soft, pitting on lap 7, or soft to medium on lap 7. The majority of the grid is on the hard compound tire. Then Brannan and LTK Terror are on the soft tires, and DPT Paul is on the mediums. It's the only one on mediums. So lap 7 will be the window for the pit stops. One warming up their tires. Heading into the final sector of this formation lap. So Fabit Good on pole position, 3-time winner in Papa Champs in his 18 starts. Let's see what he can do tonight. Running off with the first race 15 laps ahead of us. Cars lining up onto the grid into formation. Grid slots. Waiting to everyone to line up. Green flag in the back. We head onto the 5 red lights to get this race underway. And the lights are out and we're underway. And who's a good start? The Airs is on the inside immediately going into turn 1. And Kislesko is trying to go to the inside, but Fabikut remains around the outside and holds on to the lead for now. Then it's Scott right behind him in P-through. Kislesko trying to go around the outside then into turn 4. Is he going to make that work? Not quite, and Scott on the inside, slight contact there as well. As Brennan tried to go for a move there as well. Bit of a Constantine effect there between the top 4. Brennan, of course, on the soft compound tire, so he wants to get ahead as soon as possible. There's Kislesko trying to go around the outside. Fabio brakes later though into the first chicane, 3 abreast in the background as well. Still they're fighting here as a safety car has been deployed. Safety car. Brennan has got a 5-second time penalty. So I wonder what's going on. He's lost his front wing as well as TPT Paul there, started on the back of the grid on the medium, so both of them will have to pit in. Fortunately, they can go onto the hard compound tire since they started on softs and mediums. And will LTK Terra pit as well from the softs, I wonder. But the safety car has been deployed immediately on the opening lap here. And it's Kislesko in the end who took the lead off of Pepip Cute. Nobody, of course, in the front going to pit. Brandon and Paul, of course, into the pit lane. Lost their front wing and Paul overtakes and going into the pit lane. Going there, Sebastian Vettel move there in China a few years ago. And just LTK Terror going into the pits as well from the soft tires. Will he going onto the hards? He's got front wing damage as well, so that explains it. But this is quite the advantage for them, considering they probably won't have to pit again until the end of the race, while everyone else in the top 8 will have to pit again. So we'll see how that pans out. Of course, possibility of another safety car, but you never know. Everyone's bunched up behind the Aston Martin safety car. Haven't even survived a single lap under green flag racing, but it's the first race. It's not the first official race. Everyone is excited for the new season. So Kislesko in P1 right now. Took the lead off the start. Went side by side into the second chicane. 6 and 7. And then the safety car deployed and he took the lead away from a Vapid Good. Kislesko, the runner-up in the inaugural season of Papa Champs, and did I see someone going into the pit lane there? Yes, Adam, no, Kyle is going into the pit lane in the Jordan from the hard compound tires, so is he going to go onto the mediums? He will have to do 12 laps on those tires. It's quite the distance. No, he's going to go onto the softs. 12 laps on softs. That's going to be very tricky. Or is he going to do a two-stopper? That's a very interesting strategy there. The rest of the field on the hard compound tires, and he has gone onto the softs. And I don't think he will be able to make it to the end of the race. Safety car will probably go in at the end of this lap. A two-stopper is very risky. We'll see how it will pan out for him. Have to make sure it doesn't ask too much of his tires. If there will be no safety car, but maybe he anticipates on another safety car, you never know. Anyway, safety car in this lap, so we'll be going back to green flag racing very shortly. Everyone warming up their tires once again for the second time in a few laps time. But that was the formation lap. So Kizlesko in the lead in the arrows will lead this restart. And when is he gonna go? To the penultimate corner, the safety car is in the pit lane, he can go at any time now. Or is he gonna go at the exit of the final corner? There he goes, and green flag, and we're back underway on lap 4 of this very short 15 lap race. Kizlesko in the lead. Rapid Coot in P2, then Scott and Kashmir. There's quite a gap already to Sector Genesis. 7/10, few cars going wide in the background. One going very wide as well as DPT Paul losing control there, and it's another safety car immediately. And Adam has lost his front wing, and there's someone else. DPT Paul has lost his front wing. He went completely into the grass into turn 2. I wonder what happened there, but we've got yet another safety car after just a few corners of racing. And it's already very chaotic indeed, and yeah, Carl can stop again onto the mediums, and I think mediums will be able to make it to the end of the race. So he'll probably have to do around 8 laps on them, and that's I think that's doable. Maybe even softs for 7 laps. Well, that changes the race completely once again. And I think pretty much everyone is going to go into the pit lane to swap their hards for a new set of mediums or softs. You know what they say, safety car brings safety car. And that's exactly what happened. Not even a sector after we went to green flag racing, another safety car was deployed. Bernd Mailander working overtime right now. And everyone, as expected, going into the pit lane. Except for LTK Terrier, yeah, he didn't have to, he's on the hard compound tires. But that's a massive disadvantage for them. Kaal is staying out on the soft tires, that's interesting to say the least. He will certainly go to the end of these tires, so a few drives on softs, a few drives on mediums as well. Not everyone is that confident that softs will make it to the end of the race. So Wyvern, Skull, Paul and Adam all opted for the medium tires. Everyone else went on to the softs. And of course Brennan and LTK Terrier are still out there on their used hard tires. Cal is still on his used softs. Actually, Scott has overtaken Vapid Good in the pit lane, I think, because he was P3 at the restart. He is now virtually behind Kizlesko, who was leading the race. So did he overtake him in the pit lane, or did he overtake him right before the second safety car? I'm not sure. Fact is that we have another safety car. We haven't had a single lap of green flag racing yet. And now it's LTK Terror in the lead of this race. In the mild 7 Renault. Very good looking car. On which Fernando Alonso won his 2 world championships in. He's leading this race right now. He's got 3 podiums to his name yet in this league. And as we see, Fabgood going into the pit lane again. Does he have front wing damage, or is this one strategic call? Adam into the pit lane again as well. No front wing change, just another set of hearts. A set of hearts going to the end. That's a very weird strategy here. With 9 laps to go, 8 laps to go at the end of this lap, he's going onto the fresh set of hearts, while others are on older set of softs. It's interesting to say the least. Adam has gone onto a new set of softs. So a lot of different strategies right now in this race. We haven't even had a single lap of racing yet. Very, very interesting. We're looking to get this race back underway again. I assume the safety car will go in at the end of this lap. Everyone is caught up to the pack. Yes, there we go. Safety car in this lap again. So it will be the 3rd start of tonight in just 6 laps of racing. Racing for Bernd Mailander and following the safety car for everyone else. This race, gonna get it back underway, hopefully for a bit longer than a few laps ago. Let's hope we get at least 1 full lap of racing now. To go into the final corner. When is LTK Terry gonna go? There he is, and it's green, green, green on lap 7. Already halfway into this race, and we're back underway to drive some hearts in the top 2. And that's Kyle in P3 ahead of Kieslewski in the aerosols. LTK Terry goes very wide, and Brennan takes the lead there into turn 2, and is very close between the 2 of them. LTK Terry trying to come back. It will have to go a long way around the outside into turn 4. Can he make it work? Yes, he can. That's a beautiful move there. And Brennan is getting swamped there by 2 cars. It's almost 3 wide there. Kyle's moved up to P2. Then it's Kieslewski as well on the arrows, trying to go for a move on the inside. Into turn 6 go. LTK Terra leads ahead of Kyle, and then it's Brennan still in P3, but Kieslewski trying to go down the inside. We'll have to go around the outside of turn 7, and he's made it work, and he's up into P3. Scott is going to P4. Brennan is falling back like a stone on these used hard compound tires. It was about to be expected. As Kashmir has also got it to P6. DPT Paul has got ahead of us as well. LTK Terra still in the lead, ahead of Kyle, Kieslewski and Scott. Cars all over the place here. Adam moved it to P6. Brennan fallen all the way down P8. Lost 6 positions in just 1 lap of racing. But it looks like we've made it to the end of 1 lap. So well done everyone. 1 full lap of green flag racing. LTK zet de vast, Scott zet de vast lap, DPD Paul zet de vast lap at 26.4. And Scott is right behind Kieslewski, who is trying to overtake Kyle, and Kyle goes wide, and Kieslewski goes through. And he's up at the P2. Scott is going through as well. What is happening to Kyle? He's lost 3 places there. Falling back. Sector Jensen has retired from the race in the pit lane. So Kislesko is looking very handy right now in P2, but he's got Scott for company right behind him. 3/10 is the gap between them. It will be a matter of time before they catch up to LTK Terra, but Scott has other plans right now. Is he going to go for the move? Not quite into turn 6. Behind Adam on the outside of Kyle. Kyle falling back to P6. Of course, he's on 5 lap old soft tires. He pitted a few laps before the safety car, I think. And he drops down to P6. Vapid trying to make his way back up the grid, of course on the freshest hard tires. And he's got past the other hard runner, Brennan. So the top 4 is very close to each other. LTK Terra still in the lead. But these hard tires, they are not fast enough for these soft runners behind them. With 7 laps to go. Kislesko is within half a second. Scott is within half a second of him. DPT Paul is there as well on the mediums tires. Doing a very good job indeed. Scott is very, very close to the back of the arrows ahead. 2/10 is the gap. Right behind him. DPT Paul looking there on the inside. Ooh, very close there between the two of them. To the back straight, DPT Paul looking to go for a move on the inside of Scott. And he's got past the reigning champion. And Kislesko is trying to go around the outer. DPT Paul down the inside there. Very late move there, and he goes ahead of Kislesko as well. And he's up at the P2 on the mediums. And the Braun GP car has made up 2 places there on the opening part of this lap. And he's now right behind LTK Terra down the inside of turn 9, and he closes the door aggressively. Scott trying to go to the inside as well. And Scott is now up at the P2. And now he's right behind the Renault who's flashing with his ERS. Got no ERS left. With still 6 laps to go. So now Scott is back up at the P2. DPT Paul is going a bit wide there. Now Kislesko is on the back foot. To move on to lap 10, DRS will be enabled then for the final 6 laps of this race. Will it be? I thought it would. Anyway, the Vapid could set the fastest lap of the race on the hard tires. Of course, the cars in front are a bit stuck there behind the mild 7 Renault. Kislesko looking to go for a move on the inside of Paul, going into turn 5. Wheel to wheel between the two of them, but DPT Paul holds on to that P3 for now. LTK Terra is weaving left and right to try and keep Scott behind. Scott will have to go the long way around the outside into turn 6. Doesn't quite make it work. Maybe the switch back then on the exit of turn 7. The softs, of course, much better traction than the hards. Opens his DRS. No ERS for LTK Terra. There's nothing he can do right now. Scott is going to go around the outside into turn 9. There we go, sweeping around the outside. They're still side by side. Whoa, and LTK Terra moves and he spins around. And he's out of the race. Rear left tire has gone off. On the inside of turn 9, trying to push too hard on the hard tires. And he spun off into the wall, and it's race over for the mild 7 Renault driver, who was looking very comfortable at one point in this race. But that's handed the race lead easily to Scott now ahead of DPT Paul and Kislesko, and one of the front runners just one moment he was in the lead and the other moment he was out and into the wall. That's a very disappointing result. Scott doing a very good job right now to Paul at bay. 9/10 is the gap. He will have DRS still. Will close that gap, and that will prevent Kislesko from attacking him. Or closing in and closing in. He's gained like 6/10 on the straight. It's amazing. Now his DRS again. He's got a very good shot to go for the lead now. Scott, of course, without DRS, DPT Paul will have to go the long way around the outside of turn 9. And he's already ahead before the braking zone, and he's taken the lead on lap 11. DPT Paul in the Braun GP car in the lead now, ahead of Scott. Still very, very close behind. Try to go down the inside, not quite here. It's not really an overtaking opportunity. With 4 laps to go, still these 3 drivers battling it out for the win. Vapid Good in the Jordan, also looking very quick on the hards, surprisingly. So 4 laps to go, Paul in the lead. Ahead of Scott in the Chip Ganassi. Still very close to the back of him, 2/10 is the gap. Riding on board with the reigning world champion, will have DRS, so it's gonna be very easy for him to re-overtake. Ground GP, DRS open. There's not much Paul can do to defend this position. Scott to the inside line into turn 6. And I think that's pretty much the overtake done. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it took the lead right now, but will Paul have DRS? He has a much better exit. A bit of a moment there of Scott. Might make contact, and DPT Paul goes around the outside and once again and retakes the lead. There was Kislesko trying to go for a move, and he overtakes him as well. So Scott dropping down to P3, losing 2 positions there on the single straight. And Paul is back into the lead. Kislesko very close. Is he going to go side by side through here? I wouldn't recommend that, and they don't. He backs out of it. And now Vapid Good has fully closed up, and that's a 4-way fight there for the win right now. 4 cars very, very close to each other. Incredible scenes here in the dress rehearsal first race. 3 laps to go in this race. Paul is still in the lead now with 4.5 tenths. That's not going to be enough to prevent Kislesko to go for a move on the back straight. Scott as well very close behind, and what can Vapid Good do? He's been closing the gap since the last few laps. Scott trying to go for the inside there. Not quite enough space, and he left to back out. And there goes Vapid Good to the inside. So that's very costly there for Scott. Vapid Good up at the P3. Scott trying to come back. It's not quite able to onto the curb, and he hits one of the brake marker board there. There's not quite enough space there to go alongside him. Scott fallen back to P4. And Vapid Good is looking to go for a move on the arrows ahead of him. Turn 9 right behind him, but it's very difficult to overtake here into the final sector. So I think he will have to wait for a couple more corners. Back to the back straight on the next lap. See Paul losing a bunch of time in the final sector, so I think he's running lower wings than the cars behind him. To move on to the penultimate lap of this race. Paul in the lead ahead of Kislesko and Vapid Good. Scott still hanging on there. And they're going to make Kislesko with the DRS, Vapid Good with the DRS, Scott with the DRS. All 3 of them will be chasing Paul. Underbraking there into the 5th corner of this circuit. And 4 tenths, I don't think that's going to be enough to defend. Vapid Good is much closer than Kislesko is, 1 tenth between. Is it going to be 3 wide into turn 6? Yes, it is going to be 3 wide. And Kislesko takes the lead, but Vapid Good on the inside as well. And he takes the lead, he takes both of them. Vapid Good with a double overtake there into the lead on the penultimate corner. DPT Paul lost 2 places there, still trying to hang on. And he tries to go around the outside of Kislesko. Is it going to be 3 wide again into turn 9? This can't go well. Is there contact? They somehow managed to stay in the straight line. Kislesko still on the inside with Paul now on the outside. Scott goes very wide and Paul somehow retake the lead. Here, and Vapid Good has dropped down to P3 again. What is going on in this race? Whoa, big slide there for Paul as well. This is incredible scenes here. So we now move on to the final lap of this race. Who's going to come out on top? I have no idea. It could be any of these 4 drivers. One more lap to decide the winner of the first race. Let's go a bit out of shade there out of turn 1. Rabbit Good is looking rather close there. 1.5 tenths. Let's go once again within DRS of Paul. But Rabbit Good is right behind him. Let's go, is he going to go to the inside or the outside into turn 6? Is he going to go to the inside? No, he's waiting. He's playing the smarter game, but Fabitcool tries to go around the outside, and this is very positive for Paul, because they are losing time here, all 3 of them, and Paul is still in P1, and he has quite the gap there, but he's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings on the final lap. He's throwing it away. Fabitcool on the inside, Scott now on the inside as well, and Kislesko's dropped down to P4, Fabitcool now into P2. He doesn't really have to overtake him on track in order to finish ahead. Have to sit behind, and Paul has thrown it away on the final lap by getting himself a track limit penalty. That's quite the anticlimactic ending to this race. But Paul is gonna cross the line in first. Got to the inside into the pile in the corner. So close there, but Fabitcool manages to hold on. Paul has crossed the line into P1, but Fabitcool will win this race in the Jordan ahead of Scott, who tried to go for a move into the final corner, but it didn't quite result into the lead. Kislesko finishes in P3 with a solid. As my headset disconnects, Paul P4 in the end ahead of Brennan in P5. An incredible battle between the top 4 in the final few laps. That was very exciting to watch. That's the end of the first race of tonight. And what a race it was. Had a rough start with 2 safety cars, but after that it was non-stop action till the end of the race. In the end, Fabitcool on the hard compound tires managed to win the race after Paul got a penalty. Said he got 2 warnings in one corner. That's very unfortunate. Look at that, the top 3 within half a second. Would have been the top 4 within half a second. Insane stuff. Ben in P5 ahead of Carl in P6 and Kasimri in P7. With Skull in 8th ahead of Adam, and then LTK Terry, who of course crashed out. P10 out of Sector Genesis, who also retired during the race. So it looks like Paul and Wivenskol and Adam have all been disqualified from the race for using a medium compound tire. I was not aware of that you weren't allowed to use that, but alright. So it would have been disqualified anyway. Now we move on to the second race. Once again, a one-shot qualifying session. This time a 35% race instead of a 25% race. Robert, I'm not driving myself. Dating. We get ready for the second race. 20 laps ahead of us, so 5 more laps than the race we just did. To bang. No, too fast, Rob. It's actually true. Just a reminder to not use the medium tires. It's not allowed. Wasn't heard it for the first race, but I know it for the NASCAR race. If you do use the mediums, you will be disqualified. Like we saw in the first race with a couple of drivers. So I'll keep that in mind. -2 drivers then. Qualifying about to get underway, another one-shot qualifying, so really just one lap, all or nothing. Minutes before we get it underway. Qualifying not that important. Got 9 drivers, so and anything can happen with the safety cars. About to get underway for the second qualifying of the night. ahead of the second and final race of tonight. And there we go, qualifying number 2. That's once again Kislesko on the front of the field, like it was in the previous qualifying session. Scott as well there again, Vapid Koot of course as well. 3 podium sitters of the first race, immediately on the pace for the second race as well. Scott with the purple first sector. And Paul is there again as well, so these 4 drivers gonna be fighting it out for pole position and possibly for the win as well. Scott right now has got the upper hand in the Chip Ganassi car. That immediately changes going into the second chicane, and now he's ahead again. Very, very close between all these drivers. Scott still in the lead of the arrows of Kislesko, who now retakes the lead. Doesn't set the purple second sector. Now into the final sector, Scott in the lead again, Paul in P2. Disqualified in the first race, almost won the race. Bit out of shape there, but Scott is looking very, very good right now. Through the final couple of corners, penultimate corner, onto the final corner. It's going to be a different pole setter than we had in race 1. I think it is, as Scott across the line, they won 22-2, and it's an easy pole position with 4 tenths ahead of Vapid Koot in P2, I think it was. A dominant pole position here for Scott, the reigning world champion. The target Chip Ganassi is on pole position by a comfortable 4 tenths to Vapid Koot in P2. Then it's Kislesko and the arrows in P3 out of Kazimri in P4. Brennan in P5 out of Sector Genesis. Then it's Weaven, Skoll, Cow, and Paul has been disqualified. So he has got an invalidation, and that's going to make his race a little bit more difficult. He'll be fighting back through the field to the front as soon as possible. Second qualifying is done. We're gonna wait a few minutes before start of this second race of the night. Yeah, quick staying hydrated, very important. That's just a test race. If it's gonna go like it was like in race 1, I think it's gonna be a great season with an epic battle there between top 4. Yeah, good. Couple of minutes before lights out, or we start the formation lap. Five lap longer race. Do not use the medium compound tire unless you will be disqualified. Okay. Scott on pole position. The target Chip Ganassi, reigning world champion. 2 wins to his name. Plenty of podiums. So one of the drivers who represented this league in the International Paddock Open, along with a few other drivers. So we're about to start the final race, the second race of the night. See who's gonna come out on top. Is it gonna be Vapid Good again? Or could it be Scott? Or Kozlesko? Good ball, fight back from the back. Starting in P9 of course. In the Jaguar. Actually, not in the Bronze GP, like I said the first race I think a few times. So apologies. Alright. There we go. Formation lap is on the way. And there's already one on medium tires, so that's pretty much the race over before the race even started. Then Kashimri, Brennan and Kyle are on the soft tires. Everyone else on the hards. Starting off with the formation lap as per usual. Getting those tires nice and warm. Car taking a very interesting line there through turn 5. Don't think that's the optimal line through there, but never know. While driving alternative layouts here in Abu Dhabi. And maybe it works, you never know. I don't recommend using the pit lane on the right hand side here, because you drive straight into a wall. That does not do very good things to your car. Anyway, final sector for the drivers. Scott will be the first one to line up in his grid position. Well, it's not gonna be one of these strategies, soft, medium or medium hard, since you're not allowed to use the medium, so it's gonna be hard softs or soft hards. We will see. Everyone lining up into their positions, and Brennan has failed to do that correctly. Vapid Good horizontally positioning his car. And there we go then for the red lights. Almost. Nearly. Or not. We wait for the lights. We still wait. Waiting very long for the lights. The lights are not going. The lights are not going on. They do not want to get this race on the way, it looks like. There we go, finally the race, and Kozlowski's left, so that might be the reason. Anyway, lights are on, lights are out. Vepet good cutting across immediately. Scott has got the better start and leads into turn 1. Ahead of Vepet good, and there's a contact in the back there between two cars. It's Kozlowski with AI has collided with Brennan. And I think that's an immediate virtual safety car this time. Yeah, virtual safety car. So Kozlowski's AI has caused quite a bit of trouble there. He and Brennan had collided. There's a full safety car immediately for the second race in a row. There's a full safety car after just a few turns. Brennan has got a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. That's an optimal. Another safety car on the opening lap. Just like the first race. Scott had the upper hand at the start, had the better launch. And was able to keep Vepet good behind him. Bernd Mailander doing quite a lot of laps tonight. And Kashimri is of course going into the pit lane from the soft compound tire in the BMW Sauber. Presumably going onto the hards. He must be going onto the hards. Yes, the white wall tires fitting onto the BMW Sauber. Carl as well into the pits, as everyone else behind. All swapping for hard compound tires. And Kozlowski's AI, I think, is going on to mediums. So it's not allowed to go into mediums, but I don't think he could have prevented that. I think that AI went onto the mediums, and that's very unfortunate. I'm not sure if he still will get disqualified for that. I think it would be pretty unfair if he would. I think if he pits at the end of this lap to another set of tires, I think that would be fair, but that's not up to me to judge. Anyway, safety car. Realization number 3 of the night. Timing screen is a bit broken right now. Sexagenus is in P3 right now. I'm not sure how he pulled that off. 3 places gained. Paul into P4 as well from last on the grid. I think everyone ahead of him pitted as well, so kind of explains, but if I were Kozlowski, I'll go into the pit lane. Try and get those. Yeah, he's going to the pit lane. I think that's the right call. He shouldn't be disqualified for that. immediately swapping his tires at the first chance he gets. Onto a set of hard tires. Now everyone is on the hards. Some of them started on it and the others are pitted to a set of hards. So the top 4 yet to pit. Everyone else behind has pitted. It wouldn't surprise me if we get another safety car like in race 1. Quite the chaotic start once again. Now assume the safety car goes in at the end of this lap, so we can get this race back underway at the beginning of lap 4. There we go, safety car in this lap. Once again, tonight. Scott will be leading the way ahead of Vapid Coot and Sector Genesis in P3 ahead of Paul. 2 drivers who started in the back of the grid. All the way up to P3 and P4. Scott backing up the pack throughout the final sector. Safety car will be entering the pit lane very shortly. Still there through the penultimate corner. There he goes into the pit lane. So when is Scott going to go at the exit of the final corner again? He's waiting and now he's going, and green once again in this race. Scott is leading the way out of Vapid Coot and Sector Genesis. Paul and Kashmiri looking for a gap on the inside. Let's immediately passing Brennan into turn 1. Vapid Coot trying to go for a move already on the penultimate lap, and Sector Genesis going for it as well. I think it looked like Vapid Coot sweeping round the outside of turn 5. Paul is there as well. 4 cars very close to each other, and Vapid Coot is taking the lead there on lap 4. Then it's Scott right behind him. Paul is going for it to P2. Is he going to go for P1? He's going to go for P4 to P1 in the first lap. After the safety cars 2x2 into turn 6. And Vapid Coot remain to the lead. But Paul on the inside there by over the curb. And Paul has taken the lead. Although he's still side by side with Vapid Coot. Scott to P3. Genesis lost out to Scott there. I'm not sure. Paul around the outside of turn 9. Vapid Coot on the inside. Who's going to come out on top? Paul still on the outside, still side by side into the final sector. Are they going to go wheel to wheel into this corner? Yes, they are. Into the final sector, still wheel to wheel under the hotel there. But Vapid Coot has taken the lead again. And Scott has fallen down to P3 since the safety car restart. Lost out to 2 drivers there. And there's a spin at the back, and that is Sector Genesis spun around there into the penultimate corner. He was in P3 at one point and he spun around and he's dropped all the way down to P9. So we move on to lap 5 there of this race. Vapid Coot in the lead ahead of Paul and Scott. Creating a bit of a gap already to Kashimri. Scott looking very close at the back of Paul, but Paul has got the straight line speed advantage. I think he has much lower wings than everyone else. We saw that in the first race. Looks like it's really the case there. Kislesko trying to go for a move on Kyle and the piece turn 6. Not quite able to make it work. Maybe with a better exit then. He's right behind the back of Kyle there. In the Jordan. On the inside, not quite. As he remains behind the Jordan there. In P6. So Kashimri already has got a 1.1 second gap to the top 3. And Kislesko has got to get the move on if he wants to stay in touch with the top 3. So we move on to lap 6, a big moment there on the exit of the final corner. Paul with a big slide, getting a bit out of shape. Have it good with the fastest lap, 26.1. DRS has been enabled now. So is Paul gonna be able to retake the lead? I think he is. 3/10, the gap is closing rapidly there. Probably doesn't even need to get the DRS in order to pass. Sector Genesis retired in the pit lane for the second consecutive race. Pretty disappointing day for the Richard Childers Racing driver, and Paul is pulling to the inside into turn 6. And I think he's got ahead of Fabitgood. Yes, he has. Paul into the lead once again, and behind, I think it was a move. And Kazlesko has got up to P5, so now he can go and chase after Kashimri in the BMW Sauber. And then maybe close up as Paul and Fabitgood still battling, and Fabitgood is retaking the lead going into turn 9. Paul on the inside though, and they're going side by side again throughout the final sector. These two have been battling it out so far in this race. Scott still hanging on there, a couple of tenths back. As we move on another lap, lap number 7. Fabitgood leading once again ahead of Paul and Scott. Once again, Paul is closing in 3/10. Into turn 5. And the gap becomes smaller and smaller. 2/10 it is. Opening the DRS on the first of the 2 straights. And there we go, spinning to the inside once again. And he retakes the lead yet again, but Fabitgood will have the DRS again for the second straight like he did last step. Will he be able to counter that attack? Opening the DRS, and he's going to go to the inside. And that's an easy repass for the lead. And just like last lap, Fabitgood has retaken the lead. Paul is looking very, very close though, but it's very difficult to overtake in the final sector. Oh, and there's contact at the back then. That's because Lesko has lost his front wing there. He was going side by side with Kyle, and the virtual safety car has been deployed on lap 7. More drama there for the Aeros driver. Once again left without front wing. And he will have to pit again. And he hasn't got another set of hearts, I think. He used one at the start, he pitted to another set. Kashimri is going into the pit lane as well. He has got another set of hard tires. And where's Kazlesko gonna go on to? It's softs, so he will have to pit again. It's gonna be a very long race for Kazlesko in the Arrows. Another neutralization of this race. This time it's the virtual safety car, not a full safety car. Top 3 have created quite a big gap. Kashimri of course dropped out of that leading group as he pitted. For what I think will be his final pit stop. When is the virtual safety car gonna end? Oh, very close, and that's a drive-through penalty for Kashimri. Has not met this delta, unfortunately. Which means he will have to go into the pit lane again and lose a lot of time. And oh, Fabitgood has spun around and he's crashed with Paul! Coming out of turn 16, I think it is. And they've crashed out, and they are both out of this race, and Scott says thank you very much into the lead. High drama here on lap 8. Paul and Fabitgood making contact just after the virtual safety car ended. Coming out of turn 14, they collided and they both went into the wall. And they're out. Now Scott is leading this race easily by 10 seconds ahead of Carl, and then it's Brennan in P3 somehow. Shim reserving his drive-through penalty. What is going on tonight? Absolute scenes, and Brennan is going for the move. Around the outside of Carl, but Carl is going back to the inside of the turn 6. Very close to each other, Brennan. And now Carl with the switchback when he makes contact with him. Who does have the DRS? Yeah, it's Carl with the DRS. Gonna go the long way around the outside into turn 9. Will he be able to do it? Side by side through turn 9. Brennan on the inside. And Carl takes back P2. In the Jordan. Brennan down to P3, but he's got a gap of 17 seconds to Kozlesko in the airloss. Of course, is on new softs. He's got a lot of laps left on these softs. Only 6 drivers left in this race. Now get to the halfway point. It's a very easy drive now for Scott. He's much faster than the cars behind him. The gap is enormous. And Brennan has crashed out. Brennan has crashed out at turn 2. What is going on? Was looking set for a amazing podium finish. But at the beginning of lap 10, coming out of turn 2, he's hit the wall. And he's out of the race as well, and only 5 drivers are remaining in this race. Absolute bloodbath. Now there's massive gaps between all these drivers. Scott leading this race. 12.5 seconds to Kyle in P2. Will Kozlesko be able to catch up? Will his tires be able to make it to the end of the race? That's going to be the big question. Skull in P5. One of the few remaining drivers in the Braun GP. Bannon struggling with damage. Damage he sustained, I assume, in the first lap when he collided with Kozlesko. Made his life very difficult, and unfortunately it had ended this race while running in a podium position. Kozlesko was massively gaining time on the car ahead. Gap was 17 seconds a few laps ago, now it's 9.5. But those soft tires will drop off at one point. You know, his tires are 6 laps newer than Gaal's tires are. 10 lap old hards against 4 lap old softs. A comfortable drive for Scott at the moment. Basically just cruise to the end of the race, but he's not cruising at all at the moment. Still pushing flat out. Oh, a big slide there on the exit. I said he was pushing, but I didn't think he was pushing that hard. He's going into the pit lane. He's gonna swap out his 12 lap old hards for a fresh new set of soft tires. He'll come out behind Kyle for a couple of laps. Kyle's got the pit again as well, I believe. And behind him, Kozlowski. Gap was 9.5 a lap ago, it's now 6.2, so he's gaining a couple of seconds per lap. Scott will come out ahead of Kozlowski though. For a newer and fresher set of rubber. See how fast he can close that gap. 3.3, 3.4, 3.5 seconds is the gap between the top two. Kozlowski has managed to get in the DRS of Scott there. But still warming up his tires, I assume. Maybe he's trying to make this race a bit more entertaining. He's not closing in on Kyle at all. So surely not driving 100% at the moment. Let's go right behind Scott here. Scott covering the inside line, because Kozlowski will have to go around the outside of turn 1. Not quite able to do that. Scott parking his car like a bus there on the exit of turn 1. Kozlowski will have to DRS now for the first of the two straights. And Skull into the pit lane as well. With 6.5 laps to go, Kozlowski is going to go for the move. Pulls to the outside and takes P2 away from Scott. Then again, Scott will have DRS again here on the second straight. Opening the rear flap and he breezes past the arrows there. Scott is back up at P2. The final sector. Scott is driving very slowly. Now Kozlowski will have to go round the outside into the final sector. Scott driving like the ultimate Checo Perez here, like he did in 2021. With 5 laps to go and Kyle is still staying out. The gap stays at 3 seconds, so Scott is driving quite slowly in favor of Kyle at the moment. Kozlowski is looking mighty quick behind the Chip Ganassi car. It will have DRS again, but will we see a repeat of last lap? Where Kozlowski overtakes him here on this straight and Scott re-overtakes him on the next straight. It wouldn't surprise me. It's quite literally a repeat of last lap. Scott with a much better exit. And he gets past, he doesn't even need the DRS to get past, and Scott is back up into P2. Just like last lap. Now will he go full out Perez mode into the final sector again? Riding on board with Kozlowski, will have to go around the outside here. And that's not gonna work. Now under the hotel section here. through Latifi corner. And he can't find a way past. As you would expect. Final sector very difficult to overtake there. You can go around the outside of turn 1. Not quite. Just like Paris and Hamilton did a few years ago. And the gap is growing again between Carl and Scott, 2.3 seconds with 5 laps to go in this race. Let's go, wheel to wheel. Because let's go now into P2, but who has the DRS? Scott has the much better exit. Nobody has DRS. Somehow they managed to both get not DRS. Not sure how that has happened, but Scott is trying to look for a move. He's not quite able to go for it. He's just staying behind for the time being. And gonna use this second straight to his advantage with DRS this time out. And he's gonna do it all over again, like he did the past few laps. And it's just another repeat. Scott back up into P2. Gap is 1.5 seconds now, so he's got to slow down massively. He's gonna hold up Kizlesko, I think. .2 seconds. The gap is coming down. 4 laps to go, 15 lap old hard tires. Kizlesko once again trying to go for a move. This time he hangs on round the outside and they're still going wheel to wheel into the second corner. Kizlesko round the outside, will turn it to the inside of the next corner. And they're still going wheel to wheel. Who's gonna have the DRS? Scott is ahead, so I think Kizlesko will have the DRS for the time being. I think he will, or maybe no one again, like last lap. That's nobody again, nobody with the DRS. This time it's Scott ahead. And he's lifting massively, he wants the DRS. They're playing the mind games here. Let's go around the outside, this is all in the favor of Carl at the moment. Scott has the much better exit. And he has the DRS as well. This is costing them massively. Meanwhile, Shimri is also closing in on the hard tires. The gap is only 2.8 seconds now. It's gonna be a 4-way battle right now. 3 laps to go. The gap has grown to 3 seconds now. Scott is doing Carl a massive favor here by holding up Kizlesko. A lap to go, Kizlesko will have to go around the outside, he turns to the inside into turn 1, but Scott brakes much later and manages to hold off. That was a very late move there. Didn't quite pay off there for Kizlesko in the arrows. His tires must be going off as well now. They're still going wheel to wheel into turn number 5. Shimri closing in as well, 1.1 seconds, but Carl is in the lead by 3.5 seconds. Once again, they're lifting and lifting. I think Shimri is going to the inside! Ooh, that was very close between the two of them. He's trying to go for a move on Scott now. And it's Kizlesko has taken P2, but Scott somehow still has the DRS and he's gonna go back. He's gonna have to go around the outside of the turn on, but Kizlesko trying to hold on to the inside wheel to wheel, and Scott swoops around the outside. Kizlesko with the much older tires is not able to defend. And Scott retakes P2 and Carl's now leading by 3.5 seconds with 2 laps to go. He's looking very comfortable for that victory on those very, very old hard tires. Going wide, Scott on the inside, Kizlesko on the outside into the final corner. We move on to the penultimate lap. Kashimri is fully closed up. Scott moves across. Kizlesko tries to go around the outside of turn 1. And he gets past now, but Scott will have to DRS again. Kashimbi is right behind him as well. A three-way battle for P2 at the moment. Scott dives down the inside into turn 5 and retakes P2. Who has the DRS? Glesko pulls to the inside line there with the DRS. No, without the DRS. Scott is to the inside there, going 3 wide on the back straight. Kashimbi is now to P2. Scott is trying to go for a move. And there's still 3 wide there into turn 6. Kashimbi on the inside. Scott gets blocked off there by both of them. And now Glesko and the Harris is up at the P3 again with the DRS. Now they're 3 wide again here. Glesko in P3, but Scott hangs on round the outside, going very, very wide. And this time he loses out to both of them. And Glesko is up into P2. The gap is 2.9 seconds to Kyle at the moment. And Glesko has got a buffer between him. Kashimbi is there in P3. Scott has fallen down to P4. But I think it's too late for Glesko to try and catch up. Scott is falling out of DRS right now. 2.1 seconds. It's gonna be very close, but overtaking in the final sector is gonna be very difficult. So if he manages to close up somehow during the course of this final lap, he will still need to find a way past, and that's gonna be very difficult. To push as hard as he can, 1.6, 1.5, the gap is going down rapidly. Probably gonna be using all his ERS to try to get within the DRS. But I reckon Kyle has been saving his ERS. No, he hasn't. His light is flashing. It's not gonna be DRS for Glesko at the moment, so he will have to find a way past in the final sector without DRS. 1.2 becomes 1.1. Kashimbi is still there with DRS. We go into the final sector of the final lap. Kyle still leading this race. Glesko is there in P2, but it's just a bit too far behind. I think he needed one more lap in order to get ahead of him. 8 tenths, it's not gonna be enough. Kyle through the penultimate corner, and the finish flag is gonna come in the nick of time for him as he crosses the line and he wins the second race here ahead of Glesko and Kashimbi. Scott with his ultimate defense. Paris style finishes in P4, and we'll have to wait a while before Wyvern Skull finishes P5. Kyle wins this race on 19 lap old hard tires. To the incredible defending of Scott there. In the end, another very interesting race. Skull is going to cross the line and finish P5. And that is the end of this second race. And there it is. Kyle wins the race. Let's go in P2 with the fastest lap. A second between the top 3. Kashimbi in the end with a podium in the BMW Sauber. Scott in P4 with Scott P5. And Brennan retiring after sustaining quite a bit of damage to his bodywork. Paul and Vapid Good both crashing out early on in the race. Sector Genesis retiring in pit lane. after spinning out very early in the race. So that is the end of tonight's races. That's the end of the dress rehearsal of the second season. Next week the season will get underway fully in Australia with 2 races again. Another 25% and 35% race. The Albert Park circuit. Thank you everyone for watching. And we'll see you next week for the opening round of the season. And I wish you a very nice evening.